Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're here to ask how tall is too tall for a big man in NBA 2K22 Next Gen. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff, and like always, strive to 1,000 likes. Now, I asked this question for the simple reason of I've made multiple different build videos as far as I have my own 6'6" at small forward that I run as a big man, and I set screens on offense and I do guard ball on defense. So that is a different style of what a big man would do. Whereas I've also advocated really hard for the 7'3" and the 7 foot on the dot. So to put this simply, I'm here to explain to you guys the pros and the cons of every height that you're going to go with in this game, and we have this everything from ranging 6'6" to 6'7", 8, 9, 10, 11, 7 foot, 1, 2, 3, simple. We have every height from 6'6" and above in terms of playing as a big man in 2K22. So again, I hope y'all enjoy, and if you do, feel free to drop a like. Now, we have this split up into categories. This is going to be in 4 different categories, and I have the first 3 all tied into one is going to be 6'6", 6'7", and 6'8". These are your undersized bigs. I will say they're severely undersized, and you're going to play in a different style than what a normal big man would do, but it's super mobile, really good for perimeter defense, and super meta when it comes to like stage 3v3s, or really just 3v3 in general, if we're being completely honest. Now, after that, we have the short tweeners. So this right here is going to be from 6'9" to 6'10". Then we have the tall tweeners, which is between 6'11" to 7 foot. I will say the 7 foot is really good. I will say though, these 2 heights right here, I really dislike. 6'10" and 6'11", I'm not a big fan of. I don't think they're any good by any means. You really miss out on a lot of really key badges and just ability to do certain things. You do, however, get big man contact dunks, but me personally, I don't think that's that big a deal. If it's something that you really like, it is what it is. Anyway, again, I think 7 foot is going to be really good. 7'1" and 7'2", they're decent, but I just don't see any utility in them because 7'3" is just the best. So again, we're going to explain some of the really good ones here, but some of these I'm just going to give a very brief explanation on because again, I really don't think 7'1" and 7'2" are very good. I will explain why I think 6'10" and 6'11" aren't very good as well, and then we're going to give a nice little rundown on all the other heights that are pretty viable. So first and foremost, we got my own original build right here, the 6'6" at small forward playing big man. It's gonna be 180 on the weight. You guys are not gonna like this if you're somebody who came here to like actually see tall bigs early on. Like I said, I will be showing as well 7 footers, 7'3", all types of stuff like that, but we're starting from short to tall. So again, 6'6", you're going to be guarding ball on defense. You can, however, still guard bigs. I will say this is still doable. You have silver rebound chaser, silver rim protector, and you only have bronze brick wall, however, is something worth mentioning here. And you're going to see I flex this build a little bit differently than what my own one is. I took the pass accuracy down to 70 so that I could have my steal rating super high, but either way, long story short is what I'm here to show you guys with these videos is I'm going to show you what every build gets in terms of the attribute ratings. Like for instance, when you get taller, it's very doable to upgrade shooting, but I'm just going to show you guys without shooting so you can kind of judge by how many attribute points each of these builds get. And to make that most simple for you, I'm just not going to include shooting besides around 70 free throw for every build. So you'll see when I get taller, it's a lot easier to fill out literally everything. Like I'm talking, you can max everything that doesn't have to do with shooting. So what that means to you, if you're somebody who does like shooting, is taller builds get more attribute cap points that you can put into your build in terms of upgrading your shooting. It's actually easier to get 3-pointer up on a tall big than it is a short one. So I'll just put it like that. But the reason for that is because you get a lot of good ball handle, speed with ball, you get really good driving dunk, all types of stuff like that. Your perimeter defense and steal goes super high. So with great power comes really hard to balance the build out in terms of like all types of things you can put on it. So 6'6", super fire. I really like it in terms of its mobility. It gets 88 speed, which is far and above, way better than every other build you're gonna see in this video. So the basic explanation on the 6'6" is it's very mobile on offense, sets pretty weak bodies on screens, but if you're somebody who plays in a competitive setting where you're playing 3v3 or especially stage 3v3, or if you line up at the 2 spot and you have a big man in the size above you, so to say, or the 3 spot when you're running 3v3, you're going to play against guard sides where the point guard and the 2 are going to be completely just playing sides on you and your point guard. You're going to get really easy slips. It doesn't matter that your brick wall is that bad because a lot of people just by nature are going to constantly just play sides defense and allow you to slip right through the middle. So again, I don't think the brick wall really hurts that bad. We talked about that in yesterday's video. On to the 6'7", it's kind of the same exact thing as the 6'6", if we're being completely honest. It's just, it has a little bit more utility. So we went 1 up on the weight right here because you didn't lose any speed or any vital attribute ratings or anything like that for doing it. And we have 7'4" wingspan. Again, I'm showing you guys every one of these builds with no shooting, but again, one last time, and I won't mention it for the rest of the video. You can take things off on the shooting if you would like, and we might even at the very end of the video recap and show what you could do and take off on certain things to actually upgrade shooting. But again, last time I'll mention that for the video. So on this one, we have 25 finishing, 25 playmaking, and 32 defense. And I actually did make a mistake on this build right here. So what I did on this build is I went 181, right? Now, here's the thing that's really important about the weights when it comes to this build, and just anything to do with really playing as a big man. You're going to want to target, if your build is anywhere near it, you want that 91 defensive rebound so you can get gold rebound chaser. And fortunately, you can reach that without losing any more than just 1 speed of the max of what you can get right here. Again, I did 181 right here so I can get this extra interior defense without losing anything. As you can see, if you're watching the attributes right now, the only thing that's changing is interior defense as I'm changing this weight back and forth. But again, I do really want that 91 defensive rebound. So unfortunately, we will have to lose that acceleration and stuff like that and all the other things that came with it. But with that said, we do get the 91 defensive rebound for gold rebound chaser. Now, I will say for the sake of brick wall, I don't think you're really going to see anything that's reasonable to have on more than silver until you hit 6'8". I would say the first reasonable height that you hit for gold brick wall is probably going to be 6'10". And then for Hall of Fame, probably around, I would say like 7 foot, to be completely honest with you guys. Maybe even I'll just go with the 7'3" if you want the Hall of Fame brick wall. I feel like the reason I say that is because you're going to end up going really heavy on your weight if you're going anything less than 7 foot for the Hall of Fame brick wall, and that to me is just not worth it if you're going to be short and slow. So I would rather just be tall and slow rather than short and slow in terms of having the Hall of Fame brick wall, and you get that naturally with the interior defense being higher just from being taller. But anyway, the quick note about the 6'7", because this actually is a really cool build and it's really interesting too, because there's really good pros and there's really bad cons to it. So the pros, you are 6'7", it's the tallest you can be while still having the Hall of Fame clamps and Hall of Fame menace badge right here, because you need 95 perimeter defense to get menace on Hall of Fame and then 94 to get clamps on Hall of Fame. You also, with maxing your steal rating, still get Hall of Fame pickpocket as well, because you need 96 for this. So with all that said, it meets a lot of requirements with that, but unfortunately, it is 1 short when it comes to anything to do with chase down artist being on Hall of Fame or rim protector being on gold. It's 1 rating short, 87, and you need 88 for both of those to be 1 tier higher. So a little bit unfortunate in that regard. You do need 95 block to have Intimidator on Hall of Fame, and honestly, Intimidator's been a little bit frustrating in this game as well, so I don't even know if this is worth in the first place. But anyway, so for the 6'8", I'm going to show 2 different versions for this one because I have another one that has 80 ball handle, and I really wanted that for the sake of Pro-Am for me playing as the screen setter, and then I'm going to be guarding ball as well with this. But anyway, again, for 6'8", you have really good defensive stats with this if you do go with a max wingspan and minimum weight. But again, I'm going to show another one that is a little bit less convenient in terms of being a defensive player and has a little bit more offensive ability to it, and it's unfortunate because it's really just for that 80 ball handle. But this one right here, 27, 23, and 34. You will get silver brick wall with this. You're 2 higher than the minimum that you need for it with 76 interior defense, and this one has 78 right here. And realistically, this gets almost every badge on gold that you could ever need in terms of defense. You don't get post move lockdown any higher than bronze, which it could go to silver if you get a little bit higher on interior defense, but I don't really think this badge is too important to be running. And especially if you're 6'8", you're going to struggle against post scorers anyway on 2v2 or 1v1. So regardless, you can see every badge on here is Hall of Fame or gold besides brick wall and post move lockdown. It's super original in the sense of it's so well rounded. The 6'8" is on defense. It's not amazing at anything, but it's really not bad at anything either. You can see the worst rating besides interior defense is going to be your perimeter defense at 87, and that's saying something too, because you have really good rebounding. Your steal and block are both really good. You don't meet that 90 threshold that Mike Wang is always talking about, but I'm starting to believe that's just kind of not even worth mentioning, really. You do miss out on interceptor on Hall of Fame because of not hitting 90, but you're really nowhere near the rating that you need to have the Hall of Fame pickpocket anyway, so it's up to you to see if interceptor actually matters that much for you. You're going to see the other version that I make of this too is not actually going to be that close because it does have to take the wingspan down by 2, and then weight has to go up a little bit. But anyway, alright, so I'm not going to show every single thing that I'm going to upgrade on the 7'4" wingspan instead of 7'6", but I'm just going to show you guys what you lose out on. So you're going to lose out on 2 driving dunk and 4 standing dunk. you obviously get a higher maxed out three-pointer, but I'm not going to be upgrading this in this video right here. And then you do gain that ball handle to 80, which is very, very important for how I like to play in terms of just me being able to use this build outside of Pro-Am as well, and being able to play with it on park or just even maybe stage. I guess stage isn't as important in terms of me handling the ball, but either way, it's a lot more fun. I'll just put it like that. So I do lose 3 block, 2 steal. I lose 3 rebound on both category as well. If you're someone who doesn't care about that 80 ball handle, it's not worth it. I would definitely recommend you go 7'6" on the wingspan. I just really, really wanted that ball handle, so it was just something I had to sacrifice. All right, so now we got the 6'9". We're gonna go 210 on the wingspan on this one as well. This is actually really convenient because you can be minimum weight and then still have the 91 rebound in both categories. We have 7'7" wingspan, which is the max, and I'm just doing built for every body type, as you guys have probably seen. Now with this one, like I said, at the minimum weight, I still get 91 rebound, which is going to be good for the goal rebound chaser. It's still got 99 block, 82 steal, 83 perimeter defense. You still get the silver clamps. And one thing that's very worth mentioning is you need to be 6'9" or shorter to have clamps at all. And I really do think that's a very key thing in terms of how you're going to play the game. If you're someone who likes to play 3v3, I think 6'9" is the tallest I would go. And when it pertains to the title of this video, how tall is too tall for a big man in 2K22 Next Gen, I do think 6'9" is where the cutoff goes in terms of if you want to play perimeter defense, you want to be able to switch on to ball handlers if need be. And if you're someone who is going to be playing that backside on the screens and your point guard gets hit or your lockdown gets hit and you need to step up and it requires a full switch, this is something I definitely recommend running. I think silver clamps is going to be doable. I think you definitely want that. I think 83 perimeter defense and 76 speed is about as low as you want to go in that regard when it comes to guarding really good point guards. Now, you might just be running against some bots or something like that as well. It is a possibility. You do only have 88 driving dunk on this, so you don't get the elite contact dunks. You need 92 for that. So that is where the 6'9" kind of caps out at. But you do get Hall of Fame posterizer, whereas the 6'8" doesn't, because it doesn't reach 99 standing dunk or driving dunk, whereas this one does have 99 standing dunk. So anyway, long story short, for the 6'9", they're still pretty mobile. I do think they're really good vertical and stuff like that too, and really good rebounding and great shot blocking, solid perimeter defender, and overall it's a really good build still. I think 6'9" is definitely very, very solid. But here's where we get kind of bad, in my opinion. So we have the 6'10" and the 6'11s. I'm going to very quickly recap these ones right here and just show you guys what you don't get and explain it to you. So with the 6'10", I'm going to be upping the weight to 220 right here so I can get the gold brick wall that is needed for 88 interior defense. Now, here's the thing about the weight. This is going up from the minimum. 210 is the minimum weight, and you would have 75 speed right here, whereas at 220, you have 73. But at the minimum weight of 210, you don't have 91 rebound, which again I think is very essential if you're gonna be this tall. And then you don't have gold brick wall, which you need at 220. And realistically, this is just where you're gonna have to go with this. So I would definitely recommend if you're gonna go with the 6'10", that you want the gold brick wall, you want the gold rebound chaser. It makes a lot of sense to do, and you lose out on clamps entirely. You just can't have clamps on this build, and we'll show that. All right, so in the requirements right here, you can see must be 6'9" or shorter, and then in red parentheses is 6'10", as in this build is 6'10" and can't get it. So you literally just can't get clamps with this build, and it's a little bit bad to be completely honest with you guys, but you do still get pro contact dunks. You need 84 driving dunk for that. You also will get the big man contact dunks too, because you have really good vertical and you have 99 standing dunk. But again, in my opinion, I think this build is just kind of bad. If you're someone who likes to play as a true big man and doesn't want to be sacrificing like crazy amounts of speed and be super slow out here, I do think the 6'10" is a pretty viable build. But me personally, I just think it's not that good. You get bronze quick first step too on top of that, where most builds, anything I've showed is going to get silver, and it's a little bit tough in that regard. You don't get 75 ball handle either, and 80 is kind of the cusp that I like, but 75 still gives a couple dribble moves as well. And realistically, it's kind of just more of a traditional big man build, but it's a little bit undersized in the sense of it'll be a little bit more mobile. But you do get the gold brick wall is a plus, and you do get gold rebound chaser, obviously with hitting 91 rebound, but you can even do that with a 6'8" if you wanted to, realistically. All right, so then we have 6'11", and in my opinion, 6'11" is probably the worst height for a big man in general, just in total. This height really just sucks if you ask me. It's not good. So you're gonna have 70 perimeter defense, 74 steal. You keep the 91 rebound for goal rebound chaser. You have 99 block as well. And one thing to be said about this that kind of could contrast the 6'10" is I'm able to still have 73 speed, just like the last one did. So you are a little bit taller while still maintaining the same speed, but you don't have pro contact dunks at all. The only contact dunks you're gonna have are big man contacts, and realistically, all you're gonna live off of is just standing dunks. I mean, you could still get really good driving dunk packages with this though, and at 6'11", that is kind of freakish because you're still gonna be able to get things that, you know, are very, very explosive dunk packages. But again, no contacts when it comes to the driving ones, or just in general, just regular contact dunks. It's only big men. And then again, we just come back to the whole topic of no ball handling ability. And now, some people don't care about that type of stuff, right? But what also should be mentioned with this is that glue hands is tied to ball handle. And honestly, everybody's been on this stuff. 2K Labs, 2K Toots, shout out to both of those channels too. They've been carrying the 2K content in terms of the badge and stuff like that. And I look to them for a lot of insight. And I gotta say, me personally, I've been running glue hands on Hall of Fame for Pro-Am. I see a lot of utility in this badge when it comes to catching things on the pick and rolls and stuff. Or if you're a popper out there who's looking at this video and you're not exactly taking everything from me, because again, I didn't upgrade shooting on any of these builds, it would just be way too long a video if I was showing a shooting version for every single height that I'm doing for this. But long story short, glue hands definitely helps you catch and shoot the ball. It helps you catch on pick and rolls and stuff like that too. It's just a big time badge, honestly. And again, ball handle is tied to that. So you don't really get it very good on these tall builds, and unfortunately this one would be one short of gold. So it is kind of tough, man. Anyway, again, just everything to do with this build, it just doesn't get good clamps. It has no menace or anything like that. It doesn't get anything to do really with good perimeter defense other than maybe silver pick dodger. You're not running through picks on a 6'11 anyway, obviously, but honestly, for switching on to ball handlers, I don't like this build at all. It's really slow. It doesn't really add any utility, and I just don't think it's really popping off the charts like any of these other builds do. However, the taller you go, as you guys are going to see, the more easy it is to access these attribute points. So you're going to see, like with this build right here, I literally have everything upgraded besides shooting. Like I have close shot to 75, post control is maxed out, everything in the finishing is maxed out, everything in the playmaking is fully maxed out, defense fully maxed out, physicals fully maxed out. So I will say these taller builds are a lot more manageable to actually get like a full kitted out build, because it doesn't require you to upgrade your ball handle to like 80 or speed with ball to 80 or perimeter defense and steal to 80 plus, 90 plus, or anything like that, physicals to 90s or 80s or anything like that. Again, it's easier to upgrade these taller builds when it comes to shooting. So if you're somebody who wants to be a popper build or someone that's outside, I think 7-footers are fire. You're gonna be able to upgrade a lot of things. You don't need to have a whole lot of utility when it comes to how you play in terms of the ball handling. You still get the bronze quick first step. You do only get bronze glue hands right here. You could lower a wingspan for this if you wanted to, but at this height, I don't think that's worth it at all. Plus, then you have to go higher on the weight to compensate for your rebound getting dropped off that. I just don't think that's worth by any means. So personally, I just think that you'll just have to deal with the bronze glue hands. Anyway, again, one last time I want to mention, you guys can easily upgrade three-pointer on builds that are taller than like 7 foot or anything like that. Maybe even 6'10 or taller, it's even more manageable too. But when you hit 6'9", 6'8", when you're sacrificing for that really good utility and versatility with perimeter defense and steals and speed and just versatility on defense, you get that back by the fact that you can just upgrade three-pointer more manageably, because you don't have to upgrade ball handle, speed with ball, perimeter D, steal, speed, acceleration, you know, all types of stuff like that, vertical even as high or anything like that. So there is definitely something to be said about these tall builds and how it's easier to upgrade three-pointer. So now a quick recap on the 7.1 and 7.2. We're going to keep this really, really short with these builds right here, because I just don't think they're really worth running. You may as well just be on a 7.3 if you ask me, but you're going to see I just go a little bit up on the weight for the sake of just getting something without losing speed or anything like that. And then I have 7'11 wingspan on this on a 7.1 build. And yes, you could go higher on the weight to get the Hall of Fame rebound chaser at 99, albeit, but you're going to be really slow. I don't think that's worth doing. You could make a case for just upping your weight a little bit more for the interior defense to be high enough for Hall of Fame brick wall, but at the end of the day, I just don't see why you would make a build like this when you could just make a 7.3, honestly. The moral of the story with these 7.1 and 7.2s is, why make this when you could just be 7.3? So get a good look at the attributes here and just understand that I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when you have 7.3 instead. Again, you don't get clamps or anything like that. It would be nice if they would have added more utility to this to make it so maybe a 7.1 or a 7-footer could get bronze clamps or something like that, and then it makes it less useful to be 7.3 because you don't get bronze clamps. Maybe that's still not even worth it, most likely. But anyway, again, just get a good look at the ratings here for the 7.1. We're going to show the 7.2 as well. One other thing worth mentioning too is that 7'2", you have a 5 pounds higher on the minimum weight. So instead of 220, you have to now go 225. So essentially, you're gonna see right here, it makes it so I can't actually go down any lower than this. So I'm kind of forced to hit this 93 rebound instead of just going as low on the weight as I could to still maintain speed and have 91 rebound. But anyway, 8-foot wingspan. You're gonna see right here again, just why make this build instead of a 7-3 is really how I feel about it. I mean, you don't have the Hall of Fame rebound chaser. If you do, you have to be slow, and it really makes no sense to do so. And you might as well just be 7-3 and slow if you're gonna have the Hall of Fame rebound chaser. And realistically, you don't really gain anything here. You have 0 on quick first step or anything to do with ball handling, and you know, the build's more so just a big body that's really not good for anything besides setting screens. And maybe you could be a popper with this though. I mean, I've seen 7-3s that are out here shooting pretty consistently too, and I mean, it's definitely doable, but realistically, just not worth doing if you ask me. So now here's the true demigod of all demigods. We got the 7-3, 237 on the weight, which is exactly what you need for 99 rebound, which again gives you Hall of Fame rebound chaser. You do lose 3 speed from what you could have for the minimum weight. So on minimum weight, you could have 64 speed and, you know, a little bit better vertical. We'll just go ahead and show off this. So instead of 237, you could go 230, and you can see for every bit of weight, it really just takes away. So you have 65 vertical, 61 speed, and 58 acceleration on this. You could pretty much gain 3 on every one of those things for being lower, but as you can see, it also lowers your rebound into your defense, stuff like that. This is the perfect build to get Hall of Fame brick wall and rebound chaser on though. I'm telling you guys, like, you really just may as well make a 7-3, 237 max weight wingspan every single time if you're trying to be just a huge big body. So with this build right here, you're gonna see I pretty much max out everything to do with anything. So we only have post control on 79 on this. However, what I'm gonna say about this build is it's kind of the opposite of what you were seeing with, you know, the 6'6" and the 7 and 8 and stuff like that, where they had ratings in perimeter defense and steal and speed and acceleration and vertical that were super high, that made it harder to upgrade certain things. You're gonna see where how this pendulum kind of swung again, where I don't have enough attribute ratings to max out close shot and post control, whereas I did on the 6'9", 10, 11, 7-footers and stuff like that. So just naturally with having ratings that are super high, it's going to weigh it down. If you really wanted to, what you could do is just lower your attribute ratings that are super high, and you could just lower your interior defense and block ratings to say 97. At 97, you get the Hall of Fame rim protector. You can still keep 40 defensive badges with this, and it would allow you to upgrade other things, like for instance, maybe you want post control all the way up. Boom, that just makes a huge difference right there. My whole point though is you can manageably change these ratings how you want. I'm just showing you guys, like, space for space, how I can fairly compare these builds and explain how they kind of like sort themselves out. And with these super tall builds, it comes with a lot of ratings that hit 99, and the 91 and the 99 ones are just super expensive. If you wanted to as well, you could lower your O board as low as it possibly could go. Like, you could even have, what is it, like 70 O board or 69, and you can still have Hall of Fame rebound chaser. If you're somebody who's making an outside center, by any means, if you think you're not going to offensive rebound at all and you're just staying out on the perimeter at all times, you really could just not even upgrade your O board. But naturally at 7'3", you're probably going to want to do something that's on the interior, because you're going to be a good post scorer. You're going to be a really big presence in terms of standing dunks and stuff like that. And I just don't see why you wouldn't have offensive rebound on a 7'3". But if you're playing with a true inside that's maybe undersized and he's more mobile for the pick and rolling and stuff like that, then it makes sense to be able to go with lower O board and actually upgrade your 3-pointer. But anyway, again, this is showing this build's ability. It doesn't have glue hands at all, mind you, and that is one thing to be talked about with this, but it is going to be kind of clunky on catches and stuff like that. But regardless, this build is a defensive menace. I've seen it firsthand. It ranges like crazy. It has so much more mobility than you would think it should, and for the sake of it having Hall of Fame rebound chaser, it really is crazy out here, man. And I'm not trying to make the case for it in terms of mobility, in terms of like guarding a point guard in ISO, like I've seen a lot in this stage 3v3 and stuff like that. But for you to just be on a big man and just be able to jump out to somebody who's like out on the corner or something like that, your jumps and chase downs and all types of stuff like that are just insane on this build, with how much you range, how tall you are, how lanky your build is, and the fact that you really still get good jumps on blocks and everything like that, and rebounds. So anyway, that's all for the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. Like I said in the intro, let's try just 1,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of this video, put big in the comments to show your support to me all the way through. Again, feel free to leave your feedback, what you guys think on any of the heights on this. I wanted to show everything. I didn't show the 6'5", and I will say that is kind of a manageable height to play big man with. I've seen one of my subscribers do it, and it looks fire. I had thoughts of doing it at the beginning of the year myself too. And when I say the whole 6'6" or 6'7" big man, I want you guys to understand this is intended for guarding perimeter on defense, yet setting screens on offense. So it's kind of like, it's a true hybrid big man. Like when I say hybrid, I mean it's not even doing defensive jobs of a big man. It's guarding ball. It's playing as a lockdown on defense and then setting screens and playing as a big man on offense. But anyway, 6'8" is a really good height. Just to recap everything I'm kind of doing right here. So these two heights kind of tie in together. They play the exact same way. 6'8" is very close to the 6'7", but it's more of a hybrid that could still have the silver brick wall and goal rebound chaser, whereas these builds don't. But it doesn't get Hall of Fame clamps or anything like that, or menace, or any of the perimeter defense super oriented badges. So it's more of a build that will guard both ways. Like, these ones are more super intended to guard ball and could still guard bigs manageably, whereas this one is just very good at doing everything, but it's not superior in anything exactly. 6'9" and 6'8" are very similar, to be completely honest with you. They're really doing the same job entirely. This one just gets silver clamps instead of gold, whereas, you know, 6'8" does get gold. And then again, I really do feel like the 6'10" and 6'11" are just garbage. 7 foot is really good. I would say this is a really good threshold for you to be if you're someone who's trying to play on the tall style. And then I kind of feel the same way about 7'1" and 7'2". Again, why even make them when you can just make a 7'3"? That's how I feel about it. That's all for video. I hope you all enjoyed. And one last thing I do want to mention too, if anybody was, you know, questioning maybe, oh, what about dunk packages, or what about big man contact dunks? You need 65 vertical for pro big man contact dunks. You get 65 vert at 7'3". You get 70 driving dunk for decent dunk packages. You get 99 standing dunk. I mean, the 7'3" can do everything that you would want with that. There's nothing more to be wanted in that regard. So anyway, that's all for video. Like I said, if you made it to the end of the vid, put big in the comments to show support me all the way through. And other than that, hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.